The Disability Rights and Elections Module Bridge Workshop is more than an event, it's a call to action.
We need to actually come together, work together, so that we can combat discrimination. Otherwise, if we work in our silo units, we'll just be moving around this team thinking we have addressed the discrimination, and this other team is now saying, no, this one is now indirect discrimination, when all we have been trying to do is coming up with solutions to our problem. So as a house, it is upon us that as we are learning and as our minds get to be opened, this idea of coming up with solutions, it begins with us, and it begins with us in here, because we are representing different institutions. We are also even representing different families. So it's up to us as people who have received enlightenment to move the issue of fighting against discrimination forward.
By equipping stakeholders with the tools and knowledge to advocate for inclusivity, Zimbabwe is taking a crucial step towards a more democratic future.
I'm going to talk about identifying persons with disabilities as stakeholder groups. Are they stakeholders, persons with disabilities?
Yes.
Are they?
Yes.
How are we going to engage them? Learning outcomes are the ability to identify people with differing disabilities who could face difficulties in accessing, participating in some or all stages of the electoral process. The ability to identify diversity within the disability community. The ability to recognize, there's a spelling error, recognize that people with disabilities will have preferences in how they self-identify, and these preferences should be respected. Doma outcomes angu ayo. Atiri kuti kwana saying how, when, using what. Antitika. Who are we talking about when we identify persons with disabilities as election stakeholders? Who is a person with a disability who might need reasonable accommodation or other accessibility support measures to ensure equal access to the voting process? Are there particular groups of voters with disabilities who may need help in our community, e.g. in a country whose population is recovering from armed conflict or major natural disasters? It is possible that particular disabilities may be more privileged. Icho kwanika icho. Kuti kwabva kuitika hondo, kwabva kuitika ruzha, kwabva kuitika natural disasters, disabilities dzimwe dzinoita more privileged. Handiti kukuvara kwevanhu handitika kunenge kwakati wandei. For example, in Sierra Leone, for example, amputees cast their ballot by inking their toes or elbows. Aha.
The Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities mandates states to identify and remove barriers to political participation. This includes making electoral procedures, facilities and materials accessible and providing reasonable accommodations.
The person with a disability who might need reasonable accommodation or other accessibility support measures to ensure equal access to the voting process. So we have persons hard of hearing. We also have people using wheelchairs. We also have persons with visual impairment, then persons with speech impairment.
We identified these type of groups, and they all needed
So firstly, we have the visually impaired, and we highlighted that they need braille ballot papers at polling stations and braille voter education material. We also highlighted the need for large print, anything that's going to be printed, and they need to be conducted when voting. And also for those that have hearing impairment, we highlighted the need for a sign language interpreter and assistive devices like audible devices. And the next group we identified are those with physical disability, and we highlighted they need ramps at polling stations, disability-friendly polling booths, and accessible polling stations in terms of distance from where they stay. And also another issue here is the need for enough space in the polling station. If someone is, let's say, a wheelchair, they can move around freely. And those with intellectual disability, they need psychosocial support in terms of someone who can explain the process for them so that they can fully understand, and they also need a confidant. Thank you.
It fosters for an inclusive environment. It promotes equality as it does not leave anyone behind. It also ensures the reasonable accommodation, for example, sign language and braille. Election officials can tailor their strategies to address the specific needs of these groups.
Participants identified numerous barriers from inaccessible infrastructure to societal stigma.
Tiri kuti isusu ukashandisa rurimi rwekuona munhu pekutanga pane kuona urema hwake kana kuti unotsanangura urema hwake zvinobatsira kuti paunomuona hauzomuone sechimwe chinhu asi unotanga wamuona iye zvinokubatsira kuti unyatsomunzwisisa zvakanaka pane kuti utange kuona urema hwake zvinozoita kuti maybe umutarisire pasi.
Through collaborative sessions, they proposed innovative solutions such as materials in alternative formats.